Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast, a podcast dedicated to Manchester United. Before we begin, don't forget to hit subscribe, whether you're following on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or even YouTube. And don't forget to hit a follow, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter as well. I know I have yet to do a post for TikTok. It's slowly in the works, but yeah, it will be there eventually. I hope everyone is enjoying their weekend. It's a very late Saturday, almost becoming a Sunday, early Sunday morning, depending on where you are in the world. But where I am, it's a very late Saturday. But yeah, I hope everyone's been enjoying their weekend. We had some games today. We're down to the final stretch. We had the first semifinal go for the FA Cup. Crystal Palace beating Aston Villa 3-0. So we got that done. One more tomorrow, City versus Forest. Will City be returning to the FA Cup final? They've been there for the last couple of years, as well as will Forest be there as well. Listen, it's the race for the top five right now in the Premier League, and it's getting very, very close, especially between City, Forest, Chelsea, Aston Villa, and Newcastle. So it's coming down to the wire. So it's going to be an interesting couple weeks. And Man United play some teams, some squads that definitely need to get some wins. Chelsea and Aston Villa are included in that as well. So we will see. Yes, we have a match tomorrow as well. So yeah, to discuss today's episode, doing the preview for Bournemouth. Then talk about some summer transfer windows or summer transfer window targets, as well as injuries. And I think the injuries will come into the preview and everything as well, because again, we have one more matchup next week. We have the semifinals of Europa. First game one is next week against Athletic. And they're playing host to the Europa final, so I know they're going to be in an interesting battle there. And it's been a week since we played a game, so the question is, what's the plan for tomorrow? But yeah, it's the injuries, it's the preview for tomorrow, and as well as the transfer targets. And I could talk about a little bit about next week as well, but that's for another episode. I know I was going to do something else that I mentioned last episode, but unfortunately, I won't be able to do that tonight. I'll have to save that for an episode. I'll probably save it for one of near the end, especially with the way the season's going. It was going to be the Liverpool Man United discussion about the clubs. Which club would you choose? Just because they're going to be tying United for most title wins. So we'll discuss that at a later date. They haven't clinched the title yet, but it's coming no matter what. But yeah, let's dig into the preview for tomorrow, or depending on where you are, today's match against Bournemouth. Okay, so we do have an early morning or early afternoon, depending on where you are. Here in Canada, it's at 9 a.m. Over in Europe, we're definitely looking at in the afternoon. So yes, we have Bournemouth tomorrow, and obviously, it's the level of importance for this game is questionable, to say the least. Just because, again, we have an important game next Thursday, so you're wondering what the game plan is. I think the game plan is just to make sure everyone comes out healthy for the game, because the importance of the semifinal next week. We are hoping to win, get to the finals, and then secure a win into the Champions League. But we're not at that first game yet. But again, tomorrow's game, whether where we are on the polls or where we are in the table, it's that's what it is, to say the least. And listen, the main idea for tomorrow is to come out of that matchup healthy, to say the least. And we definitely need it. Like, don't get me wrong, I will be talking about some injuries that are helping. That when they come back, it's going to be very important. Um, and I'm just sorry if I feel like I'm a little dragging on, but I'm just pulling up everything um, right now, just because um, we did play Bournemouth back in December, and again, and I mentioned this for other games too. We are at a different point where when he took over Amarim, we were at a point where it was a tough challenge because he was at the start. So when we faced Bournemouth back in July, it was just before, not July, December, just before Christmas. Um, we were still figuring out the squad and just getting everything going. So we lost 3-0 in the last one. Do I see an improvement? Again, I should. Um, we saw improvement over the last rematches. We saw an improvement against Nottingham Forest. We saw an improvement. We saw a very excellent game despite the injuries and the youth starts. We saw an impressive game, especially with a carryover from the night in Manchester against Lyon. But listen, Bournemouth has a very good squad. Like, it's nothing to hide. They do have a talented squad. So for us, yes, it's going to be a battle. The question is what we're going to look at. Consider it. Um, it's going to be a hit or miss. To me, the goal is to come out of this healthy, but goal is also fitness as well, because we haven't played since last Sunday. Um, we have players coming back that we need to have there. So for me, the youth will have a role into it, but the Ruth, the not the Ruth, the youth, um, will be coming in probably earlier in the second half than normal. Just for me, and again, it all depends on how the game is going. But for me, um, we have to go with the way we start. We have to start with a full 100% squad. I know people are going to be like, well, we have a game on Thursday, but we haven't played in a week. It's exactly been a week since we played. So much as they got rest, they're still going to manage minutes. But I think with the way things are, you still have to go with a normal starting squad. And the key is, too, Diego Dallo is out, and he's basically done for the year. So that plays into effect as well. So the left wing back situation is a little bit, scarce, to say the least, or even the wing back situation in general is scarce. So losing Dallo sucks. We're expected to have a mod back, and I might as well just discuss the injuries too. Delit and Ahmad are slowly coming back. Their potentially target is for next week. And there's potential that they would start next Thursday. Not start, sorry, but be available potentially for Thursday because they return to team training Monday. So maybe we see them come in. And I think maybe getting some minutes next week will help them, but having them come back does relieve a little bit of stress considering losing Delo. Aiden Heaven still isn't back yet, so he won't be available. But having Delit and Ahmad back helps him a little bit. Not really going to help them tomorrow. We're in that bind. But having them back, or knowing that they're coming back, is actually very important to us, to say the least, in terms of depth, especially with next week. But yes, fitness to me is a concern. That is the plan. I still expect them to go out and try to win this game. I do. It's not like, oh, let's just go out and go through the rotation or just go through the motions. No, Amarim's going for a win. His priority is Europa, but it is good to have your starters get those minutes and get them in and rotated. So for me, the starting squad is definitely going to be Onana. Yes, he's our best goalie at this time right now. Our back three, going to go with Maz, Maguire, Euro. Like that is our key back three. Once Hayden, not Hayden. Well, technically, once Heaven and Delit come back, you have that there. So that's good for depth pieces. Again, losing Delo does hurt us in the wing backs. But yes, that's my back three. And if we're looking at the mid, Dorgu, Ugarte. Dorgu is going to start on the right, Ugarte and Casemiro in the middle. Again, we're struggling in the middle as well for depth. And then Harry Amas, who has played extremely well, played well in Lyon, started well last week, did very well in his first start against Newcastle. So we're seeing, an emergence of the player for a player that everyone has been craving for since the beginning of this season, to have him start. You also have Luke Shaw, but I don't think Luke Shaw is going to be starting. He'll be coming off the bench, if anything. His minutes need to be managed as well. But I think Harry Amas is the start. Again, you could throw in someone in the back. You could have Frederiksen start and move Maz up to the wing. But I think keeping the back three consistent with those three is important. Dorgu, Ugarte, Casemiro, Amas in the middle, that's what's there. Your attack, Garnacho, Bruno, and Højlund, there's really not much else. If Ahmad comes back, again, you know what, I'll just skip the Ahmad part. Again, it's as much as it's great to hear that he's coming back, it really does not impact this game. Same with Dillit. I'm just speaking speculation for future games. So, listen, Garnacho, Bruno, and Højlund, that's our attack. Hopefully, we can come out of this without injuries. But listen, Garnacho needs to, with the way things went last week, Dorgu, Garnacho, Højlund need to somehow, elevate their football IQ and just look and see where the player is, where they are in the box. Just make those plays. If you go on a stretch run and it's you, like 2-on-1, give the pass to the open person, let them make a play. If anything, they pass it back to another option. But again, the way the last games were, again, the options of trying to make the plays, the passes, the positioning, as much as Højlund gets frustrated, he has to be in the right spot. Garnacho needs to look around to see what spots he has. Even Bruno has that error from time to time, but Dorgu, Garnacho, Højlund, they're young. Let's just hold it there. They're young. They're young. They're still learning, but position, passing, vision, standard football IQ just needs to be there tomorrow. And I hope it whatever they do tomorrow. If they do the right things tomorrow, that's what I'm leaning towards. If they do the right things tomorrow, I hope that is consistent and translates into next Thursday. That's hoping for a lot. Sorry, United fans, but that is hoping for a lot from them. But yes, let's take a look here. But yeah, that's the attack. That's what they have to do. My subs for tomorrow, and I think those will be, you can question it, whatever, but I think for depth and rotation, Ericsson, Manu, Mount, and as well as Cheeto and Frederiksen as well. That has to be it. You can potentially get Lindelof and Luke Shaw. I was going to say Luke McGuire, Luke Shaw there as well. But I think those are going to be the 5 subs for tomorrow. So, listen, the bench is getting better, which is key. But at the same time, too, it's we're struggling, and the bench, as much as it's great today, will not be better for Europa. When I say better, because again, some players are not signed up for it. So we'll see what happens this week. But again, the goal is for this week is to be healthy. just make your way out of this match and just be healthy and ready to go, because you can't lose pieces. That is the problem. And we have to get the rotation in. So right now, minutes should be limited, but you want to give some minutes to the youth as well. So we'll see how it goes. But to me, that squad, again, I think it's right. You have to give your starters minutes. You have to play the attack. You have to make the consistent passes. Listen, Bruno has been great. Casemiro has been great. Harry Amos has been great. The pack three of Maguire, Maz, and Euro has been fantastic. Onana, you can just say a roller coaster. It's the attack. It's the attack, the finishing, the football IQ of passing the ball and vision and just seeing what's around. That's what's missing. So take a look at that as you will, but we have to see how that's going to play out. So, listen, I'm happy with the squad that I made. I think everyone should be having the same similar squad. I know people want other strikers to start, but we haven't played in a week. Hoyland, Bruno, Garnacho, all those guys that I just named need to get minutes and time and then get themselves ready for next Thursday. We can't just bench everyone and give them 2 weeks off. They need minutes. They need conditioning. They need time to get their legs back. It's been a week, so we'll see that there. But yes, let's just hope for a good match, a smart win, and get themselves healthy and get ready for next Thursday. So, did a little poor transition right there. My apologies, everyone, for listening. A little poor transition, what I was trying to do. But here we are. Listen, I can continue on and talk as much as I can about summer transfer windows. I will make it short today. Listen, the one thing that's good and that I mentioned is injuries are coming back, so that's key. Having DeLit and Ahmad returning to training next week is good. Aiden Heaven is slowly coming back. That's good as well. That's me doing a little short spiel on my injuries and the importance of having them coming back. Now let's just talk summer transfer. It's probably going to be short as well, just the way the transfer window is. They're almost there for Kuna. The deal is in the next steps in negotiation. I did make some Twitter posts or X posts, depending on how you want to look at it. I did make some comments here. So, like I said, I hope we sign Kuna, Delap, Ederson, and Vardy. Yes, I'm making Vardy an option here just because of experience, and you can have him on the depth and help those players like Rasmus, Delap, help them develop and trying to score goals. Maybe we bring back Rude as a manager, or not as starting as a manager, but as a coach to help develop our strikers. Maybe that's something that we're missing as well. But yes, for me, I posted this on X, which is about 2 days ago. Kuna, I hope they sign those 4. Other options I mentioned Gomez, and as well as David from Lille. Would like to keep Rasmus just because, again, Rasmus is potential target to be sold. I stated that Garnacho might be the sacrificial lamb to give us the funds to bring some of these players in. I don't want Garnacho to go. I don't want any of our players to go. I want Rasmus to stay. I don't want to lose any players. I'd be okay if they just signed Delap and Kuna and you brought in Freeze just to build our depth and just get something players that fit the system that are on Freeze to help continue with the squad and make it better. So, and I also mentioned something too on Twitter about I'm still, until I see the pen to the paper and a photo of our signings or our targets getting ready to join United, I can't really take anything for word at right now with what's going on in the news. Oshiman is a target. I know that, but right now, finding out his contract or what he wants for funds, that's what could be hindering and hurting United from signing him. That's basically any English club. So he's a potential target for the Saudi League. There's talks of Onana officially being signing with the Saudi League. There's a team looking at him. So those are like that's a big one if Onana does go and we are able to get some funds back for him. but yeah, it's all about the spending and the contracts, and like seeing what they want. But 12 million, I think, for the year per year is what Osherman is looking at. 12 million net from what I'm seeing. So no, I know there's the talks of the swap deal for Rasmus to back to Atlanta for some players. There's even talks about him going to Napoli for a swap to get Osherman. I think if we found a way to keep Rasmus, have him coming off the bench, get an experienced striker to help him grow, and also have the lap come in and help him grow, that would be key, especially the type of striker that can fit into the system for Ruben. I think that is important as well. It's also important winning the Europa and getting funds. But right now, I want to just focus on tomorrow's game or today's game against Bournemouth, and then focus on the semis for next week. But I want to get through game one of the semis, importantly, before thinking of a Europa win. But yes, let's just make it short, because again, I can say a bunch of players today, and I know there's goalie targets that they're looking at here. I saw one, Garcia from Spain. He is a potential target as well. I mentioned Ramsdale a couple of days ago as a potential target. There's Alex Baena, who's also another potential target. So there are looking at players here as well. And the important thing is, too, with Liam Delap, now that Ipswich has been relegated, Delap is now looking at now his release clause is now officially cheaper than it was before. Jamie Vardy is going to be released, or is not going to be returning back to Leicester. He is leaving, so having him as an available veteran on there, especially in the locker room too, that's important as well. So we'll see. We will see how everything goes. Again, until I see that photo of them sitting at that press table, showing them the signing, or the table of them just signing their contract with a smile. That's basically it. That's all I could. Like, I don't know how much more I could just say or just look at here, but I'm looking at. All right, so this is with transfermarket.com. I know I'm going to make it sound like I just skipped a bunch, but transfertarget.com or transfermarket.com, if you haven't been to it. They have the list of rumor signings for Manchester United. So Kuna, we know. Garcia, who I just mentioned. There's Bafdili as well that they're looking at here, age 17. There's the Enzo Canabidic, who I did mention before as the 18-year-old French player, who is going to be signing and then potentially being loaned out to a club just for development. Again, Ederson, like I've mentioned before, Baena, who I just mentioned, who plays a wing. Semeneo, who I've mentioned before, he has like a $50 million transfer fee. Xavi Simons, who's been thrown in before. I mentioned Osherman as well. Hoyland, who plays for Sporting, who has played with Amorim, potential. I like how Ollie Watkins is now in, especially when you're talking about the swap deal with Rashford for Ollie Watkins potentially. But Ollie Watkins is 29. I know they're not looking at that. Ignacio has been a target as well. I think, what is it? There's one more player from Sporting who I was looking at, or when we found out about. I'm just looking at the list right now. Of course, the internet wants to be a little slow with me today when I want to do a podcast. Just the story of my life. Paulina, who's playing for Byron. If you didn't remember Paulina, he did play for Fulham, went to Byron. And then there's also Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace as well. So we'll see. It's just a matter of just seeing what they do. Again, we need midfield, we need wingers, we need strikers, we need an attack. I'll just take every position for 500, please, Alex. But it's like defensive backs. I might not be a little worried, but it's not defensive backs, center backs. I'm not really worried too much because again, you're gonna have Euro. Hopefully, Maguire stays for one more year. I believe he's supposed to be. The Lit, Aiden Heaven. You have Fredrickson, who's been playing very well. You also have Lissandro Martinez that's coming back as well. So you have 6. I know Evans, Lindelof are going. I don't know what's going to happen with Luke Shaw. But even if you add in Luke Shaw, that's still depth there. Wingers, right now for wingers, you have Delo. Also, I forgot Mazraoui as well. Mazraoui can play winger as well. But you have Maz. So let's keep Maz as a winger, just to say. So, excuse me. So you have Maz, Dorgu, Delo. You can bring in Harry Amass. There is the kid that they signed from South America last year who should be coming, but is potentially on loan. So you have 5 there, but I think that one was going on loan. So technically, you, as much as you have 3, and also Ahmad as well, Ahmad Diallo. So technically, you only have, theoretically, you have Ahmad, Dorgu, Amas, Delo as your 4. Because again, Maz is going to be probably in the back 3. So that's your 4. You could probably get 2 more. For the middle, as much as you have Bruno, but Bruno you want to use as an attack. So you have technically Bruno, because you use him in the middle. Bruno, Casemiro, and Ugarte and Collier. You need another position. You need at least 2 more there. Up at the 10s, as much as you have Kuna, who's potentially looking to be signed, you have Mount as well as Xerxes. And you can use Bruno or Ahmad there as well. But you still need depth. We don't know what's happening with Garnacho. If you can somehow land Semeneo or Embremo to be there, that would be key. Or even looking at, Garcia as well. You can look to have him as well. There's Matata from Crystal that they're looking at as well that you can bring in. Mateta as well. And again, there's a lot of players they're looking at. And if I'm them, I am looking at keeping the transfer fees low. So I'm just taking a look here at some of these estimated transfer fees that are in, looks like euros. Actually, no. Let me just take a look. Yeah, the euro symbol. Sometimes just the way things are, you just see a symbol and you just, let me just push here. Yes. Okay. So my apologies. It is in euros. That was just a brain fart, and I can't believe it. Yeah, that's a brain fart. So Garcia is looking at 20 million euros. Mateus Cunha is estimated market value is at 55. We know the $62 million release clause is there. So 62 and a half. Some of these will probably be higher. Again, this is transfer market, what they believe the value is. We know Cunha's release clause is going to be higher. Some of them may be even different. I know Osimhen's about right. If we can get Semeneo for 35 million, that would be great. That would be around 30 million. I know there's Bena, who I talked about. He's estimated 50 million. No. If you can get Matata as an experience player at 30 million, that's good as well. The lab is now 30 million, so that's there. Xavi Simons, no. Holly Watkins, only if you do the swap deal with Rashford, which is 29. Ramsdale, if you can get Ramsdale for cheap, that's pretty good too. I know some people are not happy with Ramsdale, but I feel like they should. Wharton from Crystal, yes. If they can get that price tag lower, if they can get the lower for Paulinho as well, that would be key too. But yeah, they have some players here. Mecca as well from Borussia Dortmund, 24, central midfield. So there's a lot of things. And I think they have to look at freeze. They really do. They really do. And you know what? I told myself I wasn't going to talk about transfer market or transfer fees because, again, we'll see. In the end, we'll see how it goes because we don't know. We don't really know. We need players that fit the system. We need a lot of things. So that if we can get funds from Rashford, if Onana's going from Rashford, Sancho, Antony, Garnacho, and then Onana as well for those sales, we can do some good things. Because I know there's rumors that even without the sales, having the Lap and Kuna are still sold. And we do have some youth players coming up, but I know they're trying, I know many people don't want to see the youth signings, but it's just a matter of time. Sorry. We're going to have to enroll the youth as well, especially for depth in certain games, especially for FA Cup, EFL. If we qualify for Champions League, we know where the priority is. We may even have to use rotation at the beginning of the season with youth as well. So, speculation, just to leave it there. So, I'm just going to leave it there for the rest of the episode. Leave it there for the episode. Sorry, not the rest of the episode. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the pod. Again, my squad for Bournemouth tomorrow. Again, Onana, Maz, Maguire, Euro, Dorgu, Ugarte, Casemiro, Amas, Garnacho, Bruno, Hoyland, with, I believe the subs are going to be Cheeto, Fredrickson, Ericsson, Mainu, and Mount. You may see Shaw there as well, but I think those five will be the main key, especially Cheeto and Fredrickson, because of depth. Maybe we see Kone too. Maybe. We don't know. But again, the goal is for tomorrow is to come out healthy. So we'll take a look at that. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to hit subscribe, whether it's on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. Apple Podcasts is one referred to, and as well as follow on Instagram, Twitter, or X, and TikTok as well. Just search Red Devils Corner Kick Podcast. But yes, again, depending on where you are, we are a few hours away. It's right now it's almost 12:30 in the morning where I am. So yeah, it's for us, we're 8 hours, just over 8.5 hours, just over that before the game starts at 9:00 in Canada. So have yourself a good, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, enjoy the rest of your weekend, enjoy the match tomorrow. I will be back with another episode before the match against Athletic, but let's focus about this one, getting healthy. Happy that we're going to have players back, but let's look at this: depth, health, rotation for tomorrow, minutes. That's the key as well. And I'm expecting an improvement from the last time that we played, but I think the rotation and everything is going to be key for today's game or tomorrow's game, depending on when you're listening. So keep an eye out on that. So again, enjoy your Sunday, enjoy the match, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you on the next episode. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick Podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.